I'm neutral.
Why is that relevant?
I'm neutral on that.
Because if this is your standard for adopting what it is for it to be a fallacy, right? Then presumably you've done this process for the
Oh,
black
that's
swan
irrelevant. No,
fallacy.
that doesn't follow. This could be
Well,
our
then how
first
did
day
you
on the
figure out
job.
what the black swan fallacy was?
This could be our first day on the job.
But it's not.
Okay. Now what?
Well, he's asking you how you
mean now
determine
what?
what's fallacious. What
Where
did
do
you
we go
use?
from here, Tom?
Right, he's asking you.
That's I'm asking you.
He's saying. He's saying. How
we
did
don't
you
have
determine?
to go Sorry, Tom. We don't have to go anywhere from here, right?
And we're not going to.
Once we discuss epistemology, excuse me. Once we discuss epistemology and grounding of epistemology, we don't have to go anywhere.
Okay, let me ask the question a different way. What can I type into Google in order to get the answer that I want? Like, I want to get this answer to this question.
Wait a
what do I
second.
type
Do you
into
think
Google?
all
Do you have any
answers-
suggestions?
Wait a second.
Do you have any suggestions?
Tom?
Do you have any
Tom, do you think Google can
suggestions?
answer all questions?
No.
When I say grounding, I think
Then why would you isolate?
Because the point is that Google search.
Excuse me.
Because the Google search is concise, idiot.
Excuse me. Why would you isolate the methodology of gaining information to Google and what you can type?
Because that's what's readily available to me. I can't do a surveying
You're also standing.
I can't do a surveying of all thinkers from my room.
Tom, excuse me. You're also
metaphysical grounding.
Metaphysical, yeah. Excuse me. You're also electronically standing next to about 40, 50 people. So that's not the only thing readily.
Paper or something.
That's not the only thing readily available. Sorry, that's not the only thing readily available to you.
Are you going to accept the consensus of the room on whether or not virtuous circularity is a thing?
You do have access. Excuse me. You do have access to a body of thinkers.
So is it up to us? Is it up to us, Concrete, to determine whether or not this concept exists? That the hands of these 28 people are going to determine whether or not vicious and virtuously circular reasoning exist? Instead of
are you not paying attention? You already know that these things.
Well, you have access to a body. But what do you mean by you have access to all kinds of bodies that'll tell you all kinds of different things?
Great.
Hold on.
Ezra should always be muted.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't have him local muted?
Because humans have the capacity to understand these concepts. Yes, it would be appropriate to appeal to them.
Yeah, and you didn't need to survey like Mike the plumber and everyone in every Discord room, right?
Why not?
What?
Well, because you already have a concept.
If you ask an individual what their epistemological foundation is, why wouldn't you survey the person you're asking?
What
We're not
are you
asking for an epistemological. We're talking about specifically virtuous and vicious circularity. And I'm questioning if they're even. I'm talking to Jovan. I'm questioning whether or not they're even using the same.
You can't talk to Jovan unless you unban him. So
we're talking. We're talking about whether or not.
You cannot talk to Jovan unless you unban him.
Just let him ask the question.
You get to set that rule.
Why is that the case? Yeah.
We're talking about
because
Jovan.
That would just be a gratuitous using of Jovan whilst ostracizing.
He asked me a question.
How's he using me?
Because he knows you're big-brained and he's trying to desperately get out of this chokehold.
Big-brained?
Ezra, he knows you're big-brained. He's trying to get out of this chokehold that Ezra put him in, and he's looking for anything available.
He's asking a question. There's not a chokehold here. He's saying
I was asked
an intellectual chokehold, losing oxygen as we speak. But go ahead.
Yeah, so it's under suspicion that we might not even be operating the same system of logic, right? And if that's not the case,
so
then
what?
That's a problem. It's a problem because we're trying to reason.
It might not be the case, so it might not be a problem. It might not be the case, so it might not be a problem. What else?
Well, yeah, but if it is the case, that's a problem.
And if it's not the case, then it's not a problem. So what?
He's trying to determine
what's the problem or not.
Concrete. He's trying to figure out, like, are we operating on the same concept here or not?
Then he needs to do that then.
That's what he's been asking you, but you've just kind of.
No, he hasn't. Are you not paying attention?
Yeah, concrete. Hey, God could be the grounding for all that, but he could not. So what's the problem?
What's your argument?
Hey, Jovan.
What's the problem?
I mean, we went on this huge tangent. Like, what we were trying to do is just figure out if there was some sort of symmetry breaker that made virtuous and vicious circularity different, right? A
Right.
bunch of people in the room think it's the same thing.
We found
So
that out.
Jovan,
And
so
then
the symmetry
we're trying to
thing.
find out if there's just a second. Why are you over talking? We're trying to find out if there's an authority, and then people like we're hearing, yeah, people. You ask people, and then we say which people.
Do you
and
think
then it's just
aliens
the
should be
people.
an authority? Because all you said was this particular group, the logicians, are the authority, and then you said no one else can supplant the logicians. And I don't know why that's the case, given we can all think of these concepts
because
and come up with an answer.
You're not gonna.
Who knows better than logicians about logic?
Well, no, because concrete. You're not gonna ask Joe the plumber how to fix your toilet and then be like, oh, you think I should do it this way? Let me go ask my neighbor who's a mathematician. And let me ask the scientist who's my neighbor. And then let me ask the logician, right? You're not going to go poll your entire neighborhood. Shut up, Ezra. Shut up, Ezra.
Google?
You're not. So concrete, you're not going to go do that, right? This is what you're telling us to do right now. Concrete, stop
First of all,
interrupting me.
you're not going to tell me to shut up.
No, shut up,
We're not
Ezra.
going to do here.
Shut up,
No,
Ezra.
don't tell me to shut up.
Take it easy.
Don't interrupt me, Ezra. Do not interrupt me, Ezra. So concrete.
So this
You're not
gonna
Ezra.
hear-
Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me.
Somebody just mute him.
Why? I'm the one in the middle of my sentence.
Because you're
Came from
belligerent.
a group of
I'm
humans
trying to respond.
to a college and getting these definitions applied to the term. So stop with this stuff.
So here's
What?
the thing, Jovan. Look, Jovan. So
Jovan, let's
in a lot of
negotiate
these
unbanning for any answers proffered.
in a lot of these
Just let him
situations,
speak, please.
in a lot of these situations, they appeal to like the SCP, right? For these definitions, right? Like Darth did the other day. He said like SCP defines atheism as X, right? So I'm just the question was simple. It's like, what is an authority that you'll accept that we can appeal to try and settle this matter? And
I will
Concord's answer
accept
is
the
people.
I will accept the concept that is logically consistent with reality, which humans have described and applied definitions to specific terms of the concept.
Tom, your answer is people as well.
So your answer, concrete, is that
Not just people.
Use a little bit more specific.
Special people. Sorry, I meant to say special people.
Yeah.
Special in the good way, not special in the bad way, like you, concrete.
I mean, I would accept the look.
I'm a lawyer.
Like I have an answer.
You're just trash. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
you're local muting me.
SCP,
weird.
I would accept the SCP, right? If the SCP said, this virtuous circularity thing is like real. Yeah, I would accept it.
Look, it's a real concept. We've all agreed that it's a real concept.
It's a real concept.
Excuse me, 1 second, bro. What we're discussing is whether or not it is a legitimate distinction between the two concepts. There's going to be a body of believers or thinkers who are going to say no, it's an illegitimate concept. They're going to offer their argumentation. Then there's going to be another body of thinkers who are going to say yes, it's a legitimate.
Are there any experts that say that it's a legitimate thing?
So we're just talking about country. You're just talking about different authorities. Is that what you're referencing?
No, it's just that like we just stopped talking about what the actual difference is. Because we got on a whole debate about who the authority gets to be.
There's a guy named Ernest Sosa that talks about how circularity is not necessarily vicious.
Yeah, that's fine. So So when we talk about like authorities and what we should appeal to and what makes something not an appealed authority, when we're going to reference like a particular knowledge that an individual has in the subject, right? Now, whether or not we're going to know whether or not they have that knowledge, or whether we think they have that knowledge, we're going to appeal to certain things about that to try to justify that. And people on Discord or people who have a bias in the situation, like theologians who created a concept for this particular thing, we're not going to like most people aren't going to see that as some sort of authority. If you take that as such, then I'm going to think there's some sort of bias there. You're going to have to justify in other ways other than simply, well, there's a group of people that says this, therefore we can take them as an authority because a bunch of people have said it.
No. See, the problem with that is that the grounding of your epistemology doesn't have to be religious. It could be Dale Earnhardt's NASCAR.
Yeah, nothing I said had to do with anything about being religious.
You said that there was a bias possible because we would be appealing to people.
Yeah, but there was just an example with the theologians.
Yeah, and I just said that is not necessary. Because the grounding of your epistemology could be anything, including Dale Earnhardt's Daytona 500 winning car.
Right.
So the whole point, very simply, is whether or not we consider vicious circularity or virtuous circularity distinct concepts. And that can be easily deciphered through asking human beings who have considered the concepts and their application, which is what we do on a
Particular
regular
human
basis.
beings.
Which is what we do on a regular basis. And what Tom is saying that is he wants to engage in the same methodology, but only with a distinct group of people.
That's normal.
Now, why that group matters for this question, I don't know, right?
Because when we talk about philosophical terms or like creating new concept within philosophy, we don't want to appeal to the average Joe.
Why not?
Because
they don't know shit. What do you mean?
What do you mean they don't know shit? That's been the arrogance of this stupid ass group since I've ever been here, right? You think because you have a particular discipline and you have your own jargon that therefore you're on some higher plane of intellectual
That's
thinking.
not the claim,
right?
Okay, nobody's even saying.
Excuse me. If I were to pit you next to another group with their own jargon, they may or may not think the same about you.
That's
so
fine because they could have a different domain that uses a bunch of different jargon.
Excuse me. If you think there could be no cross pollination of concepts and thinking, that has got to be the height of hubris.
No one's saying that. You're just making stuff up now.
You're so stupid. You think that everyone cannot understand these terms because they're couched in fucking jargon. That's dumb.
You're literally just making
That's fucking
stuff
dumb. You should stop thinking
but
like that.
Just anything to stop talking about the real issue.
Here's what his suggestion is, Jovan. Like,
if he's done pulling stuff out of his ass, like
instead of going to the experts and asking them, his solution is let's go to normal people and then teach them about the concept and then ask them.
The concept. Teach them about the concept is basically saying
doctrinate them.
Teaching them about the concept is basically saying you already think like this.
Sounds like a fun experiment. I mean, I agree that you can do that. I just don't think you should take them as an authority on it.
Excuse me 1 second, bro. Teaching them about the concept actually means you already think like this, and I'm just showing you how you already think like this. And if it's the case that you think like this, do you think it's legitimate or do you think it's illegitimate? In which case, the person will say, if I were to take this particular proposition under consideration using that particular methodology, I think that would be illegitimate. Or they would say, I think that would be totally legitimate. And then they would offer a reason as to why this application of this thinking, which they already engage in, is reasonable. That's all that's happening. You're pretending that something more is happening.
Wait, why is it reasonable?
That's not the question to ask. The question to ask is why we would even care that much about everyday people's intuitions about these matters.
Again, everyday people
says reasonable.
all we are. We're all everyday.
That's what he's saying. He's saying they're just as reasonable as the experts.
Yeah, I mean, he's just dense. What do you want me to say?
Well, that's what I'm saying when I say, like, well, I don't understand what he means by reasonable.
Why don't we compare, like, the 2 or 3 leading views that the experts have instead of just talking on this tangent to no avail?
The no avail is that you haven't shown. The no avail is that you haven't shown why this particular group of people have some sort of extra abilities to consider these concepts and make a determination whether or not they're legitimate.
Well, Concrete, it was your view that you should talk to a mechanic about cars and you should talk to an aviation expert about aviation. So we just assumed that we should talk to logicians about logic and the structure of arguments.
It's like saying that why would you go to a mechanic if you need something done to your car? You could just go to Joe Schmo and get him to work on it. You could teach him what a car is. Tell him what the engine is and have him work on it.
It's worse than that. It's more.
Real quick. I wanted to ask
Hang on a second. It's worse than that. It's
Hold on,
more
Tom
like,
Bach.
why would you go to a
Tom, you
mechanic?
gotta let Ezra speak, bro.
Why
Tom,
would
I
you
can't
go to
hear
a
you.
Why
Tom,
are
you
we
gotta let
the
Ezra
priority
talk, bro.
here?
Oh my gosh! To
You've
what
been talking,
standard could
Detroit's been
someone be
talking, Giovanni's
considered?
talking. You gotta let Ezra speak.
I've never said
To
anything
what
that's ever
standard
You
added.
gotta
could
let
someone
Ezra
be
speak, bro.
considered? To what standard could someone be considered an expert?
The whole
Okay.
point.
Ah, fuck.
So
I didn't have to hear
it's
that.
worse than that, Jovan. So it's
He's
more
gonna
like
escape that question. We'll ask him again, Ezra. Don't worry about it, bro.
it's more like you need your car fixed, and instead of going to a mechanic, you go to the Dairy Queen to
Yeah, this is
teach
meta.
the guy doing the soft
This is
serve
meta.
There's
how to
nothing
fix the
meta about
cars
that.
so that
This
he
is
can
meta.
fix your car.
I think there's a better way of
Anyway,
flipping
so
this.
Tom,
Yeah,
basically you're
concrete.
saying,
Hold on,
so
concrete.
basically you think,
Concrete.
so basically in your
Concrete.
mind, in your weird warped mind, you think thinking requires thinking and consideration of concepts requires some sort of specialized education.
No.
Oh my
Now
God.
you haven't shown
This
us
is
What the
like
fuck?
that
saying
thinking.
everyone's a
What is he-
psychologist
Sorry,
because they have a
sorry,
brain. Like,
excuse
what
me,
are you
excuse me,
saying?
sorry, excuse me,
Yeah,
excuse
excuse
me,
you
excuse me,
too for
excuse
making a
me,
really dumb point.
excuse me. You haven't shown us that thinking and consideration of concepts require some sort of specialized education. and
Nobody's saying that.
experience.
Nobody's
So
saying that.
if that's
So
the
again,
case,
if you
shut
want to
up,
stop making
shut
stuff
up,
up,
shut
we can
up,
move on.
shut up.
Concrete.
So if it's the case that it doesn't require specialized education and experience, then we can ask any rational, reasonable human being whether or not they think a concept is legitimate or not.
So
But we don't need to
this is
appeal to particular quote unquote experts based on your arbitrary fucking criteria.
I
Because
have
we'll
a
if you
ask,
want,
we'll,
if you
we'll
want
let
a
Ezra ask
reliable
again.
answer, then
Wait,
you will.
What does it make? What do you do to become an expert?
So concrete, real quick, before I leave, I have a quick question. If I need my car fixed and my neighbor's a mechanic, should I ask him or should I pull my neighborhood?
Another win, Ezra. Congratulations, bro. You're on a roll.
Hey, concrete. Should I ask my neighbor who's a mechanic how to fix my car, or should I pull my neighborhood to how I should fix my car? And then if they disagree, which one should I pick?
That's analogous.
When you guys can show me that
That's
consideration of
analogous.
when you guys can show me that consideration of
Can someone tell him to unlocal mute me?
are equally complex as
He has me
car
local muted.
engines, then we might have
Concrete?
an argument.
Concrete has me
Do you
local
have
muted.
Trick muted? Do you have Trick local muted, Concrete?
Can you stop over talking, please?
He's been over talking me.
Can you stop over talking, please?
I need to. I
You've
want
literally
this.
been over talking him, Concrete. So you shut the
You're
fuck
over
up.
talking,
And he's been over talking me. So please stop
Hey,
over talking.
can a mod tell him to stop local muting me? It's against server rules.
You're not local muted, Trick.
Okay,
You're
so
just
could you-
ignored because you're stupid.
Well, could you answer my question? I'm actually curious
No,
because
I
I'm
won't
trying
be answering any of
I'm
your
try-
questions tonight. Have a nice night.
Ezra said it was analogous. So could you answer it?
Yeah, it's analogous. It's
Yeah, so-
analogous.
yeah,
So
so-
basically, you're
Well,
comparing.
can I-
You're comparing. Hold on. You're comparing basic human cognitiveness to life experience, which is completely ridiculous. So someone who is ignorant of philosophy can understand the concept of vicious circularity and considerably virtuous circularity. Now, in
Yeah,
terms
but-
of the car, that is just life experience.
They could.
Of course, you would
could.
the person with life
But
experience.
Well,
I
there
don't
you go.
think. Let me
We're
ask
done.
you, Ezra.
Harder to
do you
understand
think-
for someone who has learned philosophy.
Do you think
That's the
that
problem.
everyone is able to understand these concepts ever?
Well, hold on. So I wanted to actually answer my question.
Trick is
instead of
not done
dodge it.
talking. We need to hear Trick, fellas.
Well, I just
And
wanted I
ladies.
wanted a clear answer before I have to go. So Ezra, are you saying we should
Ezra,
take
just
the,
ignore him, bro.
So should we take
We're
the
not gonna
advice?
feed the troll.
Can someone mute concrete instead of him over talking me? This is ridiculous. So should I take the advice from my neighbor who's a mechanic, or should I poll the
He's
neighborhood?
straw-manning the argument. Just ignore him.
Well, I don't see how I'm strawmanning the argument. I'm saying, should I talk to the person we know knows more than my neighborhood, or should we poll the neighborhood? Which one
All
should
right,
I
you're
do?
done. All right, back to
Which
Tom.
one should I do? Which one should I do?
I didn't hear the second option.
So my neighbor Tom is a mechanic, and he knows a lot about cars. He knows how to fix cars, and I have a problem with my car. Should I ask him how to fix my car, or should I pull my entire neighborhood of like 300 plus people and ask them how I should fix my car And then which one should I choose if they have differing opinions?
Oh, that's a dumb example. You know why? Because in your neighborhood of 3,000 fucking
He's
people,
gonna say there's other
there's
mechanics, so
probably,
that's a bad
there's probably
example.
20.
But listen,
there's probably 20 other mechanics. You fucking idiot.
that hurts you.
That's
No, it
200.
doesn't.
So
He said
so
like 300, by the way, not 3,000.
Wait, Concrete, why does it matter?
In a neighborhood of
Mechanic?
300 other people,
So-
there's
so
probably
Concrete-
10 other mechanics.
Con-
And guess what? You get the wisdom of the fucking crowd at that point. You have 10 mechanics and fucking 290 other human beings.
Well, the
and
issue
they're
with
all
that-
fucking thinking about the best route
Right.
to take for your stupid ass
Correct.
car.
But you're still asking
hold on,
the
hold on, wait,
mechanics.
so
No,
Concrete.
you're getting the
so-
benefit
all right,
of
Concrete.
the expertise and the layman at the same time.
Right, so
Which is to
Concrete,
say,
the
if
issue-
Trick owns a Ford fucking Pinto 1986, and
Well,
I've
no.
owned 5 Pintos, whilst I wasn't a mechanic, I do have a certain expertise or
Sure, Concrete. So let's
experience
grant
with
that,
car,
right? Hold on, let's break it down,
and
Concrete.
I might be able to
Let's
know
grant
more about
that.
it than a mechanic.
Hold on,
Because
Concrete.
guess what? Not
Stop
every
filibustering.
mechanic works on every fucking car, and cars have their own fucking idiosyncratic problems.
Right. So Concrete.
So
let's break let's break it down. So okay, I have 20 others aside from the one.
And again, thinking is not as complex as a car's engine.
Hold on, Concrete. So let's
Which
say
is why we
I
can
have
all
20.
do it.
Concrete, stop interrupting me. So I have 20 other mechanics in my neighborhood. Plus, I have like I don't know, 10 to 15 other
this is why
people
we don't
who
feed
also
control,
had
man.
the same
Slow-
car. Hold
slow
on,
down
shut
the
up,
combo.
Concrete. Hold on. So 10 to 15 other people who also had the
You're
same
getting
car.
way too complicated now, dude. Jeez.
No, so then hold on.
Yeah,
Follow
Trick
me.
doesn't know-
Shut
he's
up.
just done.
Shut up.
He's not
That's
good at what he does.
35. No, that's 35 out of 300. So the rest of the people that I'm polling just have no clue and are going to affect the poll in a negative way. So you can have 100 people vote for the wrong thing or tell me to do the wrong thing. You have 100 people telling me to do the wrong thing, and that outweighs the 35 people. And then the 35 people
have
would
ADD,
probably
they've-
agree.
you've
That's
already lost
crazy.
them. You've already lost them.
The 35 people would also
Be more annoying
agree
than
with
Concrete,
the
to
one
be-
person.
to be honest.
So I it's just a terrible idea to poll my neighborhood on how to fix my car instead of asking the mechanic across the street.
Just behave gracefully, Trick.
All right, so look, Concrete already agreed with the whole point that we've been trying to get at this entire time when he brought up the fact that there's going to be multiple mechanics in your area, right? That right there, he's saying, look, I can appeal to the fact that there's going to be multiple of these people with that expertise. And he's appealing to the fact that he's going to have some sort of justification based on their experience in the particular subject. There you go. That's all we got. That's all we need.
Great.
He's agreed
So
to it.
what Trick wanted, what you wanted to say is that in our group of quote unquote experts, there is going to be a
Watch them
particular body of
scramble.
knowledge. There is going to be a particular body of knowledge that we will appeal to, and we will just bow down to their authority. I said, no, we can broaden it to include everybody, and then we also get the benefit of all the quote unquote experts and all the laymen. Because this is a subject matter that any rational, reasonable human being.
But when it's
can grasp.
conflicting, which one
So
are you going
yes,
to pick?
I agree. Excuse me. Yes. So yes, I agree to your methodology, just with a little bit of steroids attached.
Right. When
Yes,
it's
we are-
conflicting,
yes,
which one are you
you're
going
right. So Jovan, yes, you're right. We do agree. We appeal to human beings, just not a particular group that we deem experts, because this is not a subject matter that is
Stop
relegated.
repeating yourself. Stop repeating
Excuse me, one
yourself.
second,
Stop
bro.
repeating
Excuse me,
yourself.
one
Let me
second, bro.
that.
Excuse me 1 second. This is not a subject matter that should be relegated to fucking experts, because it's something that we can all grasp.
Okay, so when there's a confliction,
not.
who do you go with?
If again, we already said that there's going to be an aggregate total that we appeal to.
So when there's a confliction between the experts and the laymen, which one do you go with?
Well, that wouldn't occur because again, we went to the total population.
What?
But he's saying the
We
consensus
went to
of
the
the
total
people concerned
population.
with
It
this
wouldn't be-
issue, right?
Look,
The
Jovan, you're
consensus.
trying to find a
Wait, so you're
Here's
saying
the-
we're just taking?
we're in
Oh my
agreement. You're
God.
right for the first time. We're in
Take the
agreement.
middle position and you'll be right. Just ask as many people as possible and you wind up with the best answer.
Hunter,
Hey,
do
you
you
know, there's no
understand?
fact of the matter. Excuse me, Jovan.
My
You
head
know there's no-
hurts. You
you know
said
this
that
is- Jo-
you
Jovan.
can't because we take the total population.
Jovan, you know that there's no fact of the matter as to whether or not vicious or virtual circularity is distinct or not, right? You know that this is just intersubjective agreement that we've reached. Which
You know
which
most
is what we
Christians
do.
are Catholic.
Excuse me.
Concrete. Are you
Sorry,
Catholic
sorry,
now?
excuse me. Sorry. Which is what we do on a number of topics, right?
Aren't most religious people in the world Catholic? Country, why don't you Catholic?
Now you're pivoting. He's pivoting now.
I mean, this whole
conversation
has been a pivot
totality
from
of the population. You take the totality of the population, and their opinion is what you go with.
Look, once you pivot off the first topic, that means we're done.
Most of the population of the world is not Christian.
And now we're done.
Yeah, they're Muslim.
Pivoted off the concept, and now we're done.
Well, they're not even just Muslim.
You're
they're just
changing the topic.
in the set of not Christian.
That is a
so you
tacit
should not be
agreement
Christian.
that topic number one has concluded. You've tacitly agreed that topic number one is now concluded.
Okay.
It's totally
I'd like to ask
resolved.
concrete.
So have we decided?
I'd like to ask concrete a question.
Have we
Just
decided?
run away.
Have we decided an answer to Tom's question?
No.
Yeah, it's settled. There's all circular reasoning is circular reasoning.
Hey, concrete. I'd like to ask concrete a question.
Who?
Oh, Andricus. Can Andricus go one at a time, please, guys?
Just it's an interesting. Concrete has interesting views on omnipotence and
no, he doesn't.
Oh, you definitely changed the topic. That means we've really concluded topic.
Yeah,
I thought you said we were done. Isn't this?
No, I agreed. This is a clear case that we're done.
Whatever. Fine, Andricus, go.
Interesting topic is always concrete.
So, with the interesting views that you have on omnipotence and that are kind of non-traditional, you believe that contradictions are possible.
That's a lie.
I believe you've made some. Well, I mean, you've made some.
If you misrepresent me, I won't engage. Okay.
Okay. Well, if you have interesting views on what God can and cannot do, in virtue of
Not limited by logic, and he can kill himself.
Right. He can kill himself. I believe it was with a cosmic gun. Right? Was one of your views?
That was Tom. And
No, he didn't say cosmic gun.
Continue to misrepresent me, and I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna cut the line. I'm gonna cut the line if you keep misrepresenting me.
But you do believe that God could kill himself, right?
If God is look, you also agree as well, right? If you think that God is, if you think that God is all powerful, then ceasing to exist would be within that domain of power, right? Unless you're gonna say that there is some sort of external force that keeps God in existence, such that he could never extinguish himself. Are you going to make that argument?
It's not necessary. Cool.
Are you going to make that?
No, I just wanted to make sure that
you agree with me, right?
No. I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure that
you agree with me.
I just wanted to make sure that
you're not going to answer any questions.
Dude, I am trying. Why you keep over talking me? I just wanted to make
God exists. Concrete.
I just wanted to make sure that was your view. I appreciate you answering. Thank you.
How could a necessarily existing being not exist? He necessarily must exist.
Foxy can suck all of our
worst part about
cocks.
this is it goes against his entire argument about whether or not you need a necessary grounding for all of intelligibility.
Foxy thinks that is the dumbest position a person could possibly hold, and he could not believe that would be Concrete's position. In fact, Foxy said there is no way he could be wrong about Concrete not taking that position.
I think he suggested whoever said that was lying too.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
Foxy's probably asleep because it's pretty late over in the UK right now.
Well, what we're seeing here is also compatible with the behavior we'd expect if he were there at his computer.
No, it's just not
demonstrating the problem with laymen dealing with particular concepts.
Concrete, you're going against.
Well, maybe we
Bible,
just misunderstood Concrete. Concrete, you don't actually think that God could kill himself, right? We're just misunderstanding.
And he's going against his Bible because his Bible says that God is the only one who's how you say that? You cannot kill or something. But
well,
paraphrase.
When we told him that we'd already talked about this, he said that and we offered to give him a recording. He said that I changed the tapes and I probably changed the recording.
You remastered the audio.
Yes, I remastered the tape to make Concrete say that.
So how did you make him say it this time, Tom?
This is a bot. See, you see how Concrete stopped responding? It's a bot.
You know how they could do live auto tune at like music performances?
Live non-contradict. No, that wouldn't work. Never mind.
And here's what's funny is that they're never gonna talk about this. They're gonna like Foxy's gonna hear about this, and they'll never speak about it. Just like look the other way. Okay, anyways, Christian solidarity.
And bringing it up would be trolling, right?
Yeah.
Right, bringing it up would be trolling, right? Exactly.
Concrete, don't ever say that again, bro. Don't ever say
Don't
that.
say what?
I
God
left the
can kill
room. What
himself,
happened?
bro. Don't say that, please.
So God doesn't have the power to cease existing?
Bro, in the Bible it says that he's the only one
Does
who's
God
immortal.
have the power to cease existing? Yes or no?
Even God can have a sad day, everybody.
Bro,
God,
that goes against his attributes.
unfortunately, there's no
Concrete, you agree that we don't. There's no
Sorry, one
necessary
second,
grounding
bro.
for
Sorry, I'm trying to talk to
intelligibility,
Benny,
right?
bro. Come on.
I like a
I'm trying to talk to
cosmic
Benny.
noose better than a
I'm trying to
cosmic
talk to
gun.
Benny, man. You got to get rid of all the trolls because this is what brings us back to elementary school with all the trolls who can't control themselves, peeing on themselves and shitting in the corner. Calm down, please. So the whole point, very simple.
You forgot making hilarious jokes. I've been making hilarious jokes.
I'm gonna start muting people as I see fit. Y'all just get to the conversation. Stop the meta.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Me
I agreed with him though.
Okay, so Concrete has to
Anyway,
understand.
so the whole point, I wish you would have been earlier working on this shit. But anyway, maybe it wasn't here. Anyway, the whole point is that there's nothing wrong with thinking. God is not going to punish you for thinking. If I'm wrong in my thinking, God is not going to punish me. It just seems to be a logical entailment to being all powerful. Is that if God chose to cease to exist, he could cease, and that would be at his own hand, no other hands, unless you're going to say that God cannot choose to do something.
Well,
Concrete,
let me say this.
Choose not to lie. Can God also choose not to lie?
Concrete, if
God can choose to do whatever he
Concrete,
wants to
if
do.
God necessarily must exist, then how can he will himself to not exist?
I don't see what the logical contradiction is.
In the necessarily existing part, that part.
It's from the necessity.
Yeah, I still don't see it. If you repeat it, I still won't see it. Can you elaborate?
Okay, so,
maybe offer an argument?
Okay, let's pretend my brain is God, right? If I blow my brains out,
hold on, I was
then
asking
God
Brenda.
doesn't exist here. I blew my brains out.
Yeah,
Brenda.
if God necessarily exists,
I'm helping Brenda.
Brenda, do you need help?
If others want to, this is a large room with a lot of people.
Okay, just say you
they
need
can all
help.
go.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. I want to respond. Concrete, listen, please. You have affirmation and a negation or something. Affirmation and negation. So you affirm the attributes that God revealed to us, and you negate the opposite. So when God says He's all knowledgeable, you affirm that and you confirm that and you accept that, and you reject that he can be ignorant or he doesn't know things. So that's how you that's the logic. Wait, bro, wait. That's the logic that God gave you. So God confirmed to you that He's all powerful, all existence and necessary existence and everything. So by your logic, you have to negate and reject the opposite, bro. But you are just contradicting God. That's not really
All right, Benny,
logical.
just tell me why God doesn't have the power to
dumbass. As if there was even the remotest possibility that you will know as much about Marxism as my fucking pinky finger knows.
Only do that if
Whoever's
it's on
doing the
topic.
recording, you got to mute him.
I got it, man. Chill out.
I am chill.
So confirm and negate, bro. Confirm his attributes. And
So let me just make sure.
opposite.
Let me just make sure concrete. Do you think that the proposition God exists is not a necessary proposition?
When did I say that?
When you said he could kill himself.
No, I did not. If that's what
You're saying it's possible that proposition.
Excuse me. If that's what you interpreted, then I would ask you to give me the argument as to why you interpreted.
If God can kill himself, you're saying that God by kill himself, right? Let's just affirm what you mean. By kill himself, you mean he can cease to exist.
Yes.
Right. So then the proposition he doesn't exist would be true.
Yes.
I.e., the proposition exists would be false.
What? Say again?
The proposition he exists would be false.
And the proposition that he's a
Yeah, that
necessary
follows.
being is also false.
Yeah, that follows.
Which means, and now for a being to be necessary means that in all possible worlds, the proposition that exists is true.
Okay.
Therefore, that being is not.
Actually, you know what? I had to stop you, Jovan, but like, I can't shake this feeling that maybe we should ask a mechanic about this.
But so concrete, that means that God, if it's a proposition that is a case that can be false, it's not a necessary proposition. Therefore, God's not a necessary entity, and the proposition that God exists is not necessary.
Okay.
Right. Now that means, then tell me that is, if you believe that God exists and he's the grounding of all intelligibility, there's no necessary grounding of intelligibility. It's contingent.
If God exists, then you're saying he's not necessary?
Even if God exists, you're still saying he's not necessary. And if you're saying that God is the grounding for all intelligibility, that means the grounding of all intelligibility is not necessary. So there is no necessary grounding of intelligibility.
Doesn't follow.
What if they just mean necessary for intelligibility, but he could like not exist?
I wonder how we can find out what follows and doesn't follow.
Because nothing you're saying is following because you're just missing a key ingredient that you haven't taken into consideration.
Which is what?
Which is that he still exists. And everything else that
you said he doesn't exist.
So
he does
then he
exist.
can cease to exist.
He can not exist.
Yes.
Right, so he's not necessary.
And so what do you think happens when he ceases to exist?
Definitely a contradiction happening here.
Yo,
Nothing
shut
happens
up, you
because
fucking
he
idiot.
doesn't exist.
Wait, Contra, we've had this
heckler,
conversation.
dude?
So two things. One, Contra, do you think that there's some contradiction between him ceasing to exist and the world still going on?
Again, there wouldn't be a contradiction. It's just that
So it's possible.
that not when God is the necessity for all of our existence.
Then you are saying there's a contradiction.
Excuse me?
Then you're saying there is a contradiction.
Why? I don't know why you would think that there's a contradiction in a prerequisite.
If he's necessary for existence,
excuse me. Sorry. I don't know why you think there would be a contradiction with saying that if the prerequisite for our existence doesn't exist, then therefore we wouldn't exist. Why are you appealing to contradiction?
No, I said if we exist and the prerequisites for our existence doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You'd say this anyways. So
fuck.
Concrete, you're not. Oh my god. See, this is the problem with the layman. This is the problem with the layman.
They brought in their heavy hitters.
You stop, dude.
You got a headshot, not a leg shot.
Someone mute DC.
You got a headshot, not a leg shot, and that's Benny, by the way. That's a Benny line.
I didn't even hear you over that, dude.
I said they brought in their heavy hitter, even though they banned him, and he got a headshot, not a leg shot.
But Concrete, you admitted that God's not.
You just joined the room.
You already admitted that Concrete. You admitted that God's not necessary. You went through the entire reasoning and agreed with it. You went through every premise and agreed with the conclusion.
Look, Jovan, if you're just gonna saddle me with all these accusations and things that I've never said, then I could easily do the same for you, right?
You agree that there's a point where God does exist, and there's a point where he could not exist.
I'll just simply make shit up about you that's plausible, and we'll just talk in circles. You'll deny.
No, we could probably get Darth to go in on
it. I'll assert, and you'll deny, and I'll assert, and we'll do that all night. But that's not interesting, Jovan.
I know Darth disagree with you right here.
What's more interesting is that if
Concrete won't engage Darth.
What's more interesting? Excuse me. What's more interesting is if you take the literal words that I said and you make an argument for whatever conclusion that you're making, and not simply saying that I said those things when I, in fact, never did say those things.
You agree with every step.
Jovan, let me ask you a question. God is a necessary
I bet it's recorded,
being.
Concrete.
I'm gonna ask you a question, Jovan. God is a necessary being for the existence of reality. God also has the power to cease to exist. Where's the contradiction in that?
So he's not necessary.
That doesn't follow. Can you tell me how it does?
Let's take away the.
All right, no, sorry.
Listen,
I forgot
if he's
one part.
necessary for,
I forgot one part that you're latching
let's
on
say
to.
existence ceases to exist in air quotes after he stops.
Excuse me.
Why can't you let me finish? What are you doing? What are you doing? You stopped asking me a question, then I started talking, and you interrupted me.
You gotta mute Jovan.
You interrupted me.
You gotta mute Jovan. So
Why is DC not muted?
I'm begging nicely, please.
Concrete, I'm the one that was talking. You're interrupting me.
Please let me finish, Jovan. Please.
You interrupted me.
Please let me finish, Jovan. Please.
Oh my God, dude.
Thank you.
Very persistent.
So God is necessary for existence.
Just let me finish.
God can choose not to exist. If God ceases to exist, existence ceases to exist. Where's the conflict in that?
I guess it would depend on maybe you're using a different definition of necessity than what most people would be thinking of. So maybe
Necessary
offer
means
me the two different definitions.
necessary means it couldn't be any other way, which means that God could not exist.
No. God being necessary for our existence.
Well, you're
sorry,
using
God.
the
Sorry,
word be
sorry.
there.
Excuse me. God being necessary for our existence, is just simply saying that in order for us to exist, God must exist.
So it's just a different type of necessity. He's not actually saying he's a necessary being. He's saying that our existence is necessitated by. Yeah,
God.
but that's so he's not a necessary being.
That's
That's what he's saying.
Under our definition.
Uninteresting, right?
Is concrete saying the universe could exist without God?
Yeah.
And there we go, folks.
Wait,
Gaslighting at its finest.
Let me
Ellen,
ask.
that's why you're still in
So
jail. That's why
concrete.
you're not a heavy hitter, Jay.
No, hold on. Let me ask.
Why you're not a mechanic, Brandon?
Why is it the case? So if God can
I'm
do,
not a mechanic, Jim.
wait, if God can do anything, even do things that are not logically possible, why is it the case God couldn't sustain the world after he doesn't exist? Why can't he?
Because he's necessary for our existence.
Why?
And he's also not necessary for our existence, right?
Because that's the way.
Oh, he's restrained.
Because that's the way it's set up.
Oh, he's restrained.
Restrained. What is his restraint?
So your whole point as to why you can kill himself.
No, you got it wrong. We are restrained.
So the whole point as to why he can kill himself and why he's able to do things that we consider contradictions is because those would be us trying to put certain restraints onto God or him having certain restraints, right? That's
no, that
whole
doesn't
point.
follow. You
That's what you say, concrete. That's what you say.
You offer a lot of non sequiturs, and I don't.
So why can he do things that we consider contradictions or things that are contradictions?
Because he's the author of our reality and our logical system. So everything that the reason why you consider things contradiction is because of the logical framework that you've discovered that God created. And all I'm telling you is that God could rearrange those things such that what you think to be contradictions could no longer be contradictions.
What?
What?
Concrete, do you hold that God could just like suicide and disappear?
So you don't take any necessary proposition
I don't think, if no one's paying attention, then I'll just leave it alone.
You don't take any necessary proposition that actually
repeating
Concrete is saying God can instantiate a world where he exists and doesn't exist at the same time.
The question is,
what he said,
let's take the superseded logic that you're referencing, because I would assume that you still think that God works on some sort of logic, right?
I don't know why. I don't know if that's necessary.
Wait,
but sure, it seems plausible, but I don't think it's a necessity. But if you can tell me a reason why it's a necessity, then go ahead.
So do you think? Well, I'm just asking you. Do you think that God works on some sort of?
I don't
logic?
know because I'm not privy to the inner workings of God. I think.
Do you think he runs off of reasons?
Again, I think it's plausible. I don't know if it's necessary. If you can give me an argument, I take it into consideration.
I don't understand. Do you think that God is
Wait,
an
do you think that I have access to the inner workings of God?
You understand? You're saying that you don't.
Do you think I have access?
This
to
is
the
fine.
Inner workings
He's an atheist.
This leads you to global.
obviously
This leads you to global
Jovan,
skepticism.
Jovan,
You're saying, look, if it's the case that everything you understand. Oh my God.
If it's the case that you don't,
are you gonna let me speak at all, concrete?
If it's the case that you don't think I have access to the inner workings of God, then you are asking that question in bad faith.
No, it's actually even worse, concrete. What you're saying leads you to
worse than bad faith.
What you're saying leads you to global skepticism, because now you're saying that everything you know about God or everything that you understand could be wrong, right? He can just shift it to be a different way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can't know anything about God. Now you have epistemic
Not
concerns.
true.
You can't know. Not only can you not know anything about God, you can't know anything about the world around you.
Another non sequitur. So,
whoops, there goes your intelligibility.
Another non sequitur. Are you going to let me talk now or no?
It'd have been a virtuous non sequitur.
Are you gonna let me talk
you
now?
talk now. I talked for 30 seconds. You talk
Can
for
I talk now,
at a
Jovan?
time at least.
John, can I talk now or no?
Someone needs a time like fucking
Jovan, may I speak
best
now?
clock for when he talks and other people
He's
talk.
so
Jovan, may I
condescending.
speak now?
It's ridiculous.
All right, great. So thank you for allowing me to speak.
You're welcome, Concrete. No
All right,
problem,
appreciate
bro.
it, bro.
I
hope
am
Tom
such a
unbans
nice
you.
person for
I hope
allowing
Tom
me to speak.
unbans you for all the work you've done to help his arguments out. So the whole point, very simply, is, fuck, where was I?
Where were you, Concrete?
9 out of 10 doctors say that God can kill himself.
1 out of 10 mechanics also.
I don't think no Christian will say that. The Concrete. You're the only Christian I know
What was
who
I
says
saying?
that.
The only
Yeah, that's
Christian in
fine.
the
I don't
world.
look. As long as the Lord loves me and bless me, I don't need your approval. Okay.
Well, he might not love and bless
He
you.
might, yeah, he could not.
Okay. Here we go. Yeah, now I understand.
You might be okay if he doesn't.
Now
bless you,
I understand.
Under
Now
your
I
view.
understand. So what you're saying is that could the state of affairs that we have so far come to understand change? The answer is of course. Do they have to change? No, they could remain consistent until the end of time.
You could even be wrong about the current state
All we're
of
doing,
affairs.
excuse me. So all we're doing is taking into consideration possibilities of different circumstances.
Don't
That's it.
understand.
I don't know why you're trying to make it more than what it is.
You haven't
doesn't lead to global skepticism, because these are the dynamics that exist within your own life, right? Your life is filled with things that could dramatically change for instance, we can get hit with a meteor, right? You don't then walk around worried about getting hit with a meteor and your whole life changing, right? And turning to a fucking I Am Legend situation. You don't worry about that. You just live your life according to the way that it's been and the way that you think it will continue to go, and that's it. You're not a fucking meteorite fucking weirdo telling everybody to protect themselves
Talking
and get
about
ready.
empiricism now.
Yeah, anyways, under Darth's view and all the presuppers' view, you can't have intelligibility under this view. Because what Darth says is that
Another non sequitur.
You can't even have identity over time, because identity could change at any moment for you. So concrete, you disagree with Darth on yet another thing, and you don't even have intelligibility. Sorry.
Okay, great, Tom.
Well, that's just according to Darth, right? I mean,
Well, it's not just according to Darth. You don't think it's going to be according to Darth, and then by extension, according to Foxy, according to Ezra, according to
But that's
Christ is
irrelevant,
King,
Tom. Why are you appealing to a body of thinkers as an authority? I thought we didn't do that.
I thought you wanted that.
I thought we didn't do that, Tom. I thought we put a body of thinkers as an authority.
Cars.
I do.
Ah, fine.
Is this an experiment by the government?
Why are we arguing all
to
this
make
time?
me go insane?
I'm appealing to.
Why are we arguing?
I'm appealing to presuppers to tell you what presuppers think.
You think these are expert presuppers?
Oh my
Well,
god!
according to you, they don't need to be, right?
Exactly. So
Wait,
why
but
are you
he's
appealing to them?
He's appealing to what they are
Why are you
expert.
appealing
Yes,
to them, Tom?
concrete. They're expert on what they think. Concrete. If he wants to
Yes,
know what
that's
they
correct.
think, he's going to ask the
So
people.
now we're in full agreement.
Oh
Now
no,
you
no,
got
no.
it.
No.
You
There's a difference
finally
between
fucking got it.
There's a
Shit.
difference between what they think.
Damn. Jovan, I think you just got more time being banned with that one there, bro. Sorry.
Concrete, that was a headshot,
You
bro.
got-
That was a headshot, Concrete.
You're laying on the
Yeah,
ground.
That
right
was a headshot, Vinny. Thank you, bro. Thank you for that one.
That was the last stand perk he just used.
Oh man, Jovan fucked up. I hope this is recorded. Somebody please. Jovan stepped on the mine.
Tom got a
Jovan
Tom got a headshot.
Jovan came into my house with his whole platoon, and they're like, "Yeah, we got this motherfucker. We got him surrounded." Then Jovan stepped on the landmine and was like, "Oh, fuck! Everybody's dead."
This is like in Call of Duty where you get knocked down and you have your shitty ass little pistol, and all you can do is sit there and shoot that pistol up in the air as the guy runs away.
Yep.
Is that what happened, Jovan?
Your last moments, country. You want any words?
Jovan, how did
Concrete,
I
is
die
your
when
screen
you
all
did?
gray?
You're dead.
American Sniper, Concrete. American Sniper. Damn. It was a
American
headshot to
Bumbler.
Tom.
American
You got the rabbit, bro. You got the rabbit. You got the bunny.
Damn, Jovan. Fuck.
I'd love to hear you talk to Darth about this, but we all know that's never going to happen.
Tom, your fixation on Darth is unhealthy, bro. Let me be the 18th, 20th person to tell you.
Well, why are all the Darth ball lickers in the room staying quiet while Concrete just surrenders their
Let's
dog?
see. We have 46 people in the room, and we can't get a single Darth ball licker to come forward.
Not one.
Yo, Ezra, are you there?
He's not in the VC.
We haven't even muted anybody. You know, we don't have the power to mute anybody.
He appeals to Ezra first.
Okay, I don't understand why you keep appealing to
That's
Ezra.
like when you appeal to
Ezra's
true
on-
empiricism
Ezra's
as
sharp.
your science guy.
Like, where's Foxy?
Physicist.
Yeah. I call my science expert physicist.
Yeah,
this is
so
just-
the
this
only
is
way
just-
that you can know.
This is just hating because you lost the fight.
That's
No, that's what you've been doing. Why do these guys project so hard?
I don't know.
Yeah, who did I hate? Who did I
They're silent
did I
because they have to
troll?
wait. They have to wait to see if Darth agrees with Concrete or not. You know, that's what they're
Right.
waiting for. You know.
Right, just like they have to, like figure out whether or not they recognize something as an authority. Like,
Tom,
they have to figure out whether or not they agree
Tom.
with him first.
Tom, we
I'll
know
let
you're
you know
recording
whether or
this.
not
Can
the
you
SCP is
please
an
share
authority
this?
if it agrees with me.
Tom, we know you're recording this, and I really want to hear Jovan step on that line, man.
You know, there's a
Line-
problem with
line again, landmine
there's a
again.
problem with Western games, or at least older Western games, which is like in the end game of most of these games, with these elimination type games, like there's a clear winner that's already been born about through like less than halfway through the game, and most of the players are just sitting there dragging through the game because they know who the winners are, and they're just sitting there listening to the loser sit there and cry his way through the game as he's just sitting here getting shit on, and the losers are basically Concrete, and where were the winners in this situation? Obviously.
Oh wow, that was a great story, bro. You could have told it like so much shorter, but
I
you
know
gave the
Concrete.
long
Doesn't it suck
version.
when people go on and on and on where they don't need to?
I just don't see why it's useful to talk about who wins and loses. I think people listen and they can make their own conclusions pretty easily.
So Tom,
Yeah,
did I
this is
did I miss
butthurtness
Foxy?
at its
Did I
finest.
miss Foxy coming back in or something?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is Tom. I know you're recording. Can you please
Yeah.
share the audio of this interaction?
Well,
So
you can
that
get it on Supreme Leader streams. He's in the room, so you can just go to his stream.
wait, hold on, Tom. Why don't you look, bro? We have a history. I don't know that person.
We have a history.
You got my DM.
Sounds like you dated when you say it like that.
We're homies, man. We're homies, Tom. Can you just
That's
get
better.
me this recording so that I could I gotta hear Jovan step on the landmine again. It was so
Just click on Supreme Leader. I don't understand.
Damn, why are you being so selfish?
What are you talking about? I'm not
It's
keeping anything
just-
from you.
Selfishness is not willing to engage in a particular behavior because of whatever internal forces precludes you or prevents you from being altruistic and accommodating. That is selfishness. So while you are keeping something from me, which is the data, I'm asking you not to be selfish.
He gave you an avenue to go get the data. What the hell are you
Wait,
talking about?
how do you know? Excuse me. How do you know that person is not selfish as well, such that there is no avenue? Because this was an avenue. This was perceived to be an avenue, and as we see, it is not. So
My
why do you think that
understanding-
could not happen again?
Seek therapy.
My understanding from what
BTFO
Tom
brain
said
drinkers.
is that it's streaming, and it's not even that he might or might not
He
give
gave
it
you
to
a
you.
possible avenue.
You would go to the stream and then you would go backwards in the stream to hear the part that you want to hear about Jovan. That's
Also,
what you would
seek
do.
Why is
therapy.
there so
No
much anger in your
uploading.
voice?
There's no
Looks?
nothing. There, you just click
Looks,
on
why
it.
is there so
There.
much anger in your voice?
Seek therapy.
Because your
It's like-
stupidity is infuriating. That's why.
Concrete.
No, that's
Concrete.
not
It's like,
true.
it's like It's like we're both at the beach and you're like in the ocean and you're like, Tom, I need to get wet. Help me. And I'm like, bro, what do you want? I'm just like shoulder short. What do you want me to do?
Wait, how do you know this guy's
He's
streaming?
like, bro,
What's his YouTube?
you're sloshing in those
What's his
waves.
YouTube?
Funny choice of words.
What's his YouTube?
Why do we have to
John,
do
when
all
are you
your work
gonna
for you?
John, when are you gonna let Jovan back in the community, man? I think this hatred for
Man,
Jovan.
this ain't helping if this was.
Wow, this is pettiness at its finest, dude. You want 2 years of pettiness, Tom? 2 fucking years of pettiness? Wow, this is crazy. Anyway, who's the supreme leader? Where is he? Who's that?
Well, generally the people are in alphabetical order. Supreme starts with an S. So that's.
I'm asking about his identity. I'm asking about his.
I need you to go slower for him.
Tom, when I say who is supreme leader, I'm not asking about his location. I'm asking about his identity. Such that is that a name of someone that I already know or don't know? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that Bacon Bone or Pogan or some other person that loves to change their name? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, it's Pogan.
Atheists cannot tell the truth. I don't know why. There seems to be some sort of pathology.
True.
Is something wrong with this guy? See therapy. Get therapy.
Gaslight City. Wow. How did we get here so fast?
Imagine if you had someone that was actually physically, like, it was impossible for them to tell the truth. You could use them to find out truth by just asking them questions, and whatever the negation is would be the truth.
Any other topics?
It'd be like a magic 8-ball.
Any other topics anybody want to come up with?
You know, he's body dropping the whole room right now. Well, they
Body bagging. Jesus.
Maybe
Well,
Trick will spark something. Trick, are you there, bro?
You'd have to assume they're like mechanistically reflexive to lie about something. They could just not know. And then if they don't know, you know, they don't be able to lie about stuff that they know, basically.
Thank you for that.
I wonder whose authority Concrete would accept as him being calling him a heretic.
Oh, that's a great question.
Probably
that's
a hairstylist.
That's easy.
I think Concrete's
it's called
awesome.
God. It's called God, Andricus.
I think you're awesome, Concrete, but I'm a liar.
So you would only take God's word for you being a heretic?
Do you think that there's anyone who knows God's word better than God?
I mean, I think that would be trivially true if there was a God.
His maker.
So you're
anything that you could appeal to, like.
Yeah, Tom, why are you over
on
talking,
Earth?
bro? Tom, you've been over talking the whole night, man.
I was over talking you, but you were just going.
I'm begging you, man. Please stop. This is not Tom Unboxes. This is actual, normal, non-toxic website server.
It seems non-controversial that God would know his own word, Concrete.
So there you go. So why were you so skeptical about my response?
Why was I so skeptical? I don't know.
Oh, is that it?
Why are we doing this, guys? Let's not.
You need
back and forth.
It's hard when he starts the little fun train.
I know, but let's just not.
Anyway, any other topics, ladies?
Any authority that we can actually ask, and like a human or something like that. Will you accept any human authority on heresy?
Yeah.
So
how would you ask of a human?
Yeah, let me explain my question for you, please. So God is the ultimate knower of all doctrinal issues, right? Whether or not you should pray to Mary, whether or not you should baptize with water or in spirit, whether or not
he should kill himself. Yeah.
Try to control yourself, bro, please. Unless you want the temperature to just get back to being shitty.
I was just adding something legit. Sorry.
Anyway, so yeah, appealing to a man as an authority on the topic of God seems ridiculous.
Do you defer to anyone?
I've already. Of course, I would.
You can only defer to God.
Of
Would
course,
assume
I
like Jesus
of
would be an
course,
exception
excuse
to
me.
that statement, right?
Anyway, if you want to answer for me, go ahead. I will let you answer for me, atheist. I won't fight it. Go ahead,
But
answer for me. Go ahead, Tom. You can talk to
unless
them.
no, I want to say something, right? So if a king
No,
sends,
guys, just let him answer the question.
okay, Concrete, you want to answer the question or let me say
I hated
something,
the
right?
Go ahead, Benny.
Okay, thank you, Concrete. Thank you, much appreciated, right? Okay, so
Now this will go nowhere.
if okay, a king when he sends out his message, he sends an ambassador, and the ambassador has a signature from the king and his word from the king. So when he speaks to the people, he says, "Hear, O people, in the name of the king, in the authority of the king, da 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 da." So a human being has been chosen to speak on behalf of the king, the creator himself. And that authority is the revelation itself. So yes, you can appeal to a human being that comes from the authority of the king. But if that human being has no authority, no signature, nothing, it's just subjective
Wait,
opinion.
God is signing
Taste.
stuff now? Wait, what?
Yeah, you can recognize his signing.
You
when
don't
it
have a
comes,
signed
yeah.
copy of the Bible?
Oh,
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
shit.
No, I'm not
Yo,
talking about the Bible,
this
bro.
is the philosophy
Or the
crew,
Quran, sorry.
the intellectual experts. Is that what we're? Is this who you wanted to
I'm
appeal
not.
to, Tom?
Oh my
The
God! Shut up,
philosophy
Concrete.
intellectual
Fuck,
experts.
man.
Wait,
This is
Concrete, you
this.
have no
These
problem with what
these
Benny
are
just said?
them, Tom.
You're saying
You
this
have
about a joke? Are you serious?
you have
These are them,
no
Tom. These
you
are the
have no
fucking mature intellectual philosophers you wanted to appeal to.
Concrete,
The
you have
fucking
no
gigglers,
problem with
the
you have
gigglers
no
who could never shut the fuck up and control their
Someone
emotions.
can't
you
make a
have no
joke,
problem with
Really?
what Benny just
and
said,
still be
Concrete?
an authority on some issue? Are you serious?
Wow.
Weird.
It's like just almost
Yeah,
crazy
you
the
don't
depths to
think
which you
you
go.
don't think your maturity has an influence on your outlook and the way you comport yourself given particular circumstances. For instance, if you excuse me 1 second, bro. For instance, if it's the case that you have
1
an
second, bro.
ideological commitment to belief in not God, then you are going to, and you have a low level of integrity. Whenever you're presented with information or evidence to support God, you're going to use your abilities and mixed with your immaturity and your
I'm sorry, do you think I'm
pathology
immature, have low
and your
integrity, or
immaturity
any of
and your
those things?
pathology.
Come on.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
No.
Your pathology to fucking lie in order
no.
to offer a sophisticated answer as to why
Yeah.
not God, right? In the
Why,
face of
why
all
are we
the
taking it
evidence,
seriously?
shut the
It's just
fuck
mumbo
up.
jumbo.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna
In
need
the
God to
face
sign
Finish
of
the
off.
ramble,
all,
and then
I don't
we're
know
just going
why
to
there's
dismiss
no
this nonsense.
moderators to stop the fucking
Is
heckling.
anyone tracking what Concrete's
None
saying
of
right
them,
now?
no
Yeah,
moderators
we're
are
saying
fucking
it's trial
talking
by
this shit.
fire.
Conclusion?
Goodness
Is there like
Insight
a limit?
here. He's kind of just
I
going off
am
of
I mean, this is honestly just embarrassing.
I'm very amused that the
And your
first thing
butt
I hear
hurtness
when I
shows
come
that
into this
I've touched
channel
a nerve.
is Concrete talking.
No, I feel bad for
Concrete.
you.
What's premise
That makes
one?
me
What's
happy.
premise one? Concrete.
Concrete couldn't project more if he was a movie theater.
I need God to
Movie
sign off on
theaters
this.
don't project, ding dong.
You just said ding, looking for your dong.
I didn't want to say projector, you dumb fuck.
You should have, because that would have been the only thing that would have made sense.
It's a fucking redundancy in language. I like to make it flowery, you fucking moron. Why don't you
Well,
bite your tongue
but
off, you
using
fucking dumb shit?
We all
a
got it
separate
right.
concept doesn't make the original, more appropriate concept flowery.
You clearly understood what he's saying. Like the joke is
You
fine.
could understand what he's saying, so you could have given him a pass for saying an asinine statement like
When it comes
projection
to
in
linguistics,
theaters.
Seriously?
Linguistics is
Was he
fluid,
calling
and
somebody
people talk
childish
about
just a
things
second
when they
ago?
understand things.
Bitch,
Yeah,
you're projecting
immature,
harder than Arnold
dishonest.
Schwarzenegger in Total Recall.
So you wanted it to get to the shit show. Now you're mad that we're at the shit
Is
show?
this the real
Because
Concrete?
none of you
It
idiots
is.
would shut the fuck up to let somebody make a point, right? Because you're so afraid of being wrong. You're so immature. You can't allow
it's a party,
fucking
Victor.
you
We're
can't
pretty confident
allow
that you
a
won't make any
difference of
points.
you can't allow a difference of opinion because you're so fucking insecure. So sad.
Okay, so okay, let me concrete. Let me break it down, right? So
Yeah, this is gonna
they
be
say
good.
you're
This is
talking
hard.
about you're talking about authority, right? Can we appeal to human beings as authority? No, not really, because human beings are dependent, are not necessary. So it's all opinions, taste, and flavor of the day. But if you really want to have a grounding,
Thank you.
say a safety net,
But Benny,
security. Wait, bro, let me
sorry,
finish.
go ahead.
If you really want to have a security and not this false sense of safety and security, you think, and not being in danger, you need to appeal to something that is independent and has the authority. So
Like what,
yeah,
fake Allah?
if you don't have
Jack ain't
Concrete's
strike.
view,
Jack
under
ain't strike,
Concrete's
right,
view,
Tom?
God is not necessary. He just said that like
Like
half an hour
Alex
ago.
Malpass, right,
He
Tom?
just completely contradicted himself.
What's that, concrete? What did concrete say?
Did you hear what?
That God
Did you
isn't
hear what Benny
necessary.
said? Did you hear
No,
what
what
Benny
is
said?
saying?
Oh, you gotta pay attention, bro. Anyway, any other topics? Any other questions?
Benny said you can rely on authority when it's signed off by God, and then he just said you can't rely on any humans.
No.
Yeah, it's a little. It sounds a little nuanced.
No.
It's not even. That's
No,
not
no.
even like the question that we were asking is whether or not you can. We're just we're asking concrete if he does.
I already answered it. Did you hear my answer?
No.
No, you didn't hear my answer, Blake. You didn't hear.
But it depends.
Not
It
good.
depends on the knowledge, right? If it's just knowledge about what is 1+1 and the basic knowledge, yeah, you can appeal to authority of experts or people who have
Look, Tom, it's
studied
simple.
studied and everything. But for the real things that really matters, the unseen
Look,
things
Tom.
like your purpose and what happens after you die, and everything, and what is success.
Like,
How
why
to be
does the entire room
successful.
stop to listen to this? I don't understand.
And
It's so
that
weird.
Yeah,
you
it's
cannot appeal to
trash.
human beings.
It's
I
just
don't
the
know.
weirdest
Tom,
thing,
it's
man.
like
I don't understand why this is like.
I
Tom, it's
know
like
it
this, bro.
A
hurts.
few more
It's like this.
projection jokes about Concrete projecting his
Tom, it's
emotions
like
onto other
this.
people.
If we wanted to know about violent, self-mutilating masturbation, we would appeal to you, right? In that expertise.
Would
But
you?
when it comes to
What
God,
the fuck?
when it comes to God,
Well, that's
the
interesting.
only expert on God is going to be God.
Can we deal more into Tom like shredding himself? What the hell are you talking about?
I'm just surmising.
Does God participate in self-mutilating masturbation?
Well, apparently because he can
God
kill
knows
himself.
all things, so God knows what that would be like.
The whole cruise, yeah.
I really hope we could return to the question of circularity. This was a very long tangent. But I mean, we've made
No,
some
they
progress on figuring out whether we can
It's a tangent
discern
by
if there's
design, though.
Omar, it wasn't a tangent. It's actually we came to a conclusion.
Yeah, well, we should ask a plumber.
And that's when
It was a
I
mechanic.
don't think you know what a conclusion is. So
that's when we switched subjects. You remember when Andrikis brought up God and his or my heretical views on God? That was the tacit agreement that topic number 1 was over. And everyone else agreed. You agreed as well. You didn't say anything.
Wait.
Get
How
you
was there a
silent.
tacit agreement that it was over?
So we agreed that there's no
Logic, bro.
difference
Just think
between
for
vicious and.
yourself. You can do it. I know you can.
So the agreement was that there
you
was
know what-
no difference, or that there is a difference, and it was actually explicitly stated. I didn't hear it.
So there is a difference, and the difference is legitimate because it is held in majority by a body of.
Oh.
There you go.
You cut out. You just a body of.
It is
You cut
held
out.
by a body of thinkers in the majority to be legitimately differentiated.
Do they post their consensus on something like the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy?
Is that necessary?
Well, I'm just wondering if that's a place where we could start
Well,
to
you
look at
can
what they
go and
think.
search. Look, you don't have to ask the question. You can just go and search.
But that's not even that can't be your standard because most of the people are not Christian.
I don't even know what that means.
The majority of people.
The question is not predicated on their belief, on their religious beliefs.
No, but you recognize an authority of the majority opinion on the matter, right?
With regards to this question, yes.
Right. So, is it exclusive to this question?
I mean, we would have to go case by case basis, Tom.
Right. So, in the case of Christianity, and you have the set of Christians and not Christians, the not Christians, the majority. So, why don't you be a not Christian?
Again, what is the proposition on the table?
Christianity.
Okay, Christianity is a broad topic, Tom. What regarding Christianity?
Christianity. The proposition is Christianity true or false?
Oh, and so now what?
Majority of people think not Christianity.
You have a short-term memory, right?
Well, who's that? Let me lower you because you're a troll. What's your name? Sorry.
This is my design.
What'd you say, Darth?
You are.
I don't understand why all these dipshits get to
Look,
do the
Tom.
Darth thing, but they don't.
Yeah, I wish we had moderation in the room. But anyway, Tom, you are presupposing that all people have been propositioned with the Christianity belief system, such that they have, in aggregate and in majority, denied Christianity. But that would be a fallacy on your part, because not everyone who holds to a belief system has considered the proposition of Christianity. So there you go, bro. You are wrong. Now, if
When
we were
you
to take
take a-
another, excuse me. If we were to take another approach at the proposition, is Christianity true? We would look at the Muslims who hold that the book is the foundation of their belief system, and that Jesus Christ did get crucified or was presented.
Yeah, I mean, your objection is just.
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry.